Good morning, boatingbanner.com fans. Captain Larry here with Chapter 41. Come on board. This will be a fun one. Probably one of the more educational ones we've done, I think, in the entire series. I wanted to bring you up to speed. You saw me do this one. This is a Hydra Sport project. This was a bath. And like I say, I don't think it's going to set down perfectly until we get it in the boat. This is the leaning post for the Hydra Sport. Came out pretty good. Say corners I'm not crazy about, but I think everything looks pretty straight and smooth, and I think all the wrinkles will. There's not many anyway, but I think they'll go away when we get it put on board there. Now, you all didn't see me do these. I didn't show them to you because there was nothing to learn, basically. This is just a seat. Came out very, very nice. No wrinkles. Lines are all pretty smooth. Very happy with that. Nice bottom. This is by the way, just a Hydra Sport. I got to give a shout out to them. Very well. This is a heavy seat. The base is heavy, and it has a support strip runs down it, so an elephant could sit on this thing. And this was really hard, but I with the new vinyl, and I put some piping on it. I mean, some little batting on it. I think it's really comfortable now, and it still has the old foam in it, so I think that was a good deal. So anyway, they look real nice. Here's another seat, same kind of deal. This had a plastic backing. This had piping all around. This had piping only on one side. Plus the piping in the middle. Real nice. Came out very, very good. Now these two are backrests. I did these. They came out nice. Again, we've done a lot of these kind of cushiony things, backrest kind of things, where you're just putting it on, making piping, putting the stripes and sewing and stapling. So, like I say, I don't think there's an awful lot to learn. So that's why I did not show them to you. But one thing that I did come out with this over and over again. As you see, I think I've done a beautiful job, personally, of getting the piping right on the edge. And that was a struggle for me. And as I was cutting out templates and putting it together, all of a sudden the piping would be halfway down the side of the boxing. So I couldn't figure out what in the world was going on. I assumed it was just stretching of the seams, and maybe that's what it was. But then the more I thought about it, I said it's because on our templates we're doing an old brittle, we're matching an old brittle vinyl that's stretches long gone from. But when we put the new vinyl on, even though we're making it the same size template from the original product, when we stretch it, our vinyl stretches, and of course that vinyl doesn't. So what you absolutely need to do is, go ahead and make your templates and copy them and sew them on then put it on. Make sure you get centered, everything's centered and square. But then grab these ends and pull them hard, really firmly, because what you need to do is you need to get there's obviously going to be product in the seam here that's going to give, and the vinyl's going to stretch. So what you need to do is pull, make sure you're centered, then pull it hard and hold it down, and then just take a pencil and draw the line where the end of this vinyl should be and where the piping end cap should start. And then I just measure the center, put a little notch there with my pencil, and sew it, and then I just sew the end around that, and when you put it together, you end up with very, very nice ends. So that's something you need to remember. You're not dealing apples to apples with old vinyl and new vinyl. So that's why check and recheck these things, and life will be better. Okay, what we're going to do today is we're going to make a cushion. Now this is the one side of the cushion. I need to make its mate on the other side. These are hard, and the beauty of it, though, it's going to show us almost everything we're gonna make snaps. We're gonna make snaps for the bottom. We're gonna cut and singe the sides of these. I'll show you how you put the patch on the top and the bottom. We're gonna be working with webbing. We're gonna be working, of course, with regular vinyl. We're gonna be putting a zipper in. And we're gonna be putting batting on. This also has piping on both sides, so it's big anyway, and with all that piping, it's like a mile piping I had to make. I already made that, so but I've done that a bunch of times for you, so you're not missing anything there. But the key to this is when you're sewing on this last bottom plate. See, most of these are easy because you're just wrapping around and stapling and then just cut it off if you got too much product. Here, you can't do that. So your top plate and your bottom plate has to be the same. And every time, because you're going to sew all the way around this, when I did this one, I think it was about here, I ended up with like 2 inches of extra vinyl as compared to the webbing. So I had this big bump. And so what I had to do, you can see that, I had to cut off the webbing, put a patch of vinyl in, which is good because it makes it, with this corner, makes it a more sturdy corner, so it's a good thing, I guess, in the back one. But that's the adjustment I had to make to keep my piping and the vinyl smooth. So you're always got to be thinking about these things when you're doing it, and like I say, don't throw your hands up and walk away from it, or you might need to do that. But those are the things you need to make, because there will be problems. And, you know, success and failure is our ability to handle these problems and figure it out. It took me an hour to figure this one out, but I did. And it came out really, I think it came out great. I don't know what y'all think. I hope my, the one I'm going to demonstrate with you guys comes out as well. That's really, really nice. So anyway, let me get everything, oh, we're going to cut foam. We're going to cut foam for the other one. So we're cutting foam too. So you'll get almost everything we've ever learned we're going to be using today. So let me get set up and I'll bring you right back. Okay, I finished cutting out the foam. It came out pretty good. Again, you want to try to get those angles as 90 degrees as possible. And then I just took and I laid it down on my vinyl and traced my vinyl. Now, on these, in order to get a nice tight cushion, it's best to have the vinyl virtually the exact same size as your foam. And the reason for that is when we put the boxing on, you have a little, we're going to take all the seam allowance up in the boxing part, which is this stuff here I've already made. This is a 3.5 inch wide boxing, made of piping as we've done 100 times before. And again, you put the edge of the piping on the edge of the vinyl and sewed it all the way down. But anyway, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to catch the seam allowance basically in here. So we're going to use half and half, but when you pull it, that will hopefully put our piping right on the edge, and it will put a little pressure on the vinyl to keep the wrinkles out. So that's kind of why we do that. So now I've got to do the same thing with the webbing. I'm going to put this down, put the webbing on there, and just trace the webbing and cut it out, and I will bring you back. Okay, as you can see, I have now traced and cut out the webbing. Now, this is what you want to put on the bottom of the cushion for drainage reasons. Number one, you don't see this. It's down. It's on the downside. So it doesn't need to be the pretty expensive vinyl. This, I don't know, I forget how much this webbing was. It's not even half the price of vinyl, so it's pretty reasonable. But what I wanted to just caution, see, I marked the cushion top, and you want to, because of your inaccurate cuts, which I guarantee you'll make on this foam, you want to make sure that you trace it and keep everything where it's supposed to be. So this is the side, this will be the underside, but this will be the bottom, actual bottom of the webbing. I did it exactly the width and the size of the foam. So we're going to have some hopefully tightness there. So anyway, just make sure you keep everything organized and then go back over it again, you know. Here's my vinyl. And I went over it. I had pre-cut this, but I went over it again with when I laid the vinyl on it. Because, again, what I thought I was going to cut with the vinyl and what I ended up cutting might be two different things. So you don't want to get into trouble. So you want to use the vinyl, the foam now is the template. And you're going to run everything off of that. So we have the top made now, which is the regular vinyl. We have the bottom webbing. And we have our 18 miles of boxing here. So the next thing we need to do is we're going to measure this, because we have to put a zipper in here. Good old time zippers. First one I did, I told you, like on the other project, took me half an hour. I think it was about the same for this one. It's a big long zipper, but that is not really the problem. It sews in pretty good and all that, but that getting that slider on, closer on, is a pain. And like I said, I'm still working on how to do that. But I will show you, this time I'll bring you in and show you my frustration. Maybe, and I got one little trick. I used a little bit of sewing machine oil on the teeth. And I think that might have helped. I don't know if maybe it's just mentally, but it felt like it helped. So anyway, I'll bring you right back. Here we go. All I've done, this is the old boxing. Again, we save as a template. Here's our new one. So what you want to do is you want the zipper. Get this out of the way here. You want the zipper on the back side. This will be up against the side of the boat so you don't see it. This will be mating up with the other cushion. And this is your kind of your visual side. So you want that the prettiest. And so we want our seam and our zipper on the back side here, which is where we put it. It's a big zipper, I think almost bigger than it needs to be. But what we'll do is take their word for it. Okay. And put this on. So that we'll know where the zipper's going and also where we want to put. Obviously you see I make extra. You don't ever want to skimp on this, because this is where your seam is going to be. If you make any mistakes, you can make it up here. That's why I see the top plate is easy. You just sew this on the top side and go follow the curve and all that, and then you just, when you get done, if you know you have extra going, it's not going on totally evenly, it will be all made up here. So then that's why you make extra. Make extra piping on each side so we can connect them, and we make extra boxing so we can overlap and make a seam regardless of how poorly we sewed. So this side is good. Okay, so we can't put the seam there because at the center of the, let's see, where's their seam? Their seam is up there. Yeah, that's where we're going to go then. So we'll just slide this around, go up there, and that seam is, okay, that's where we're going to join it. Now the zipper then is going to be, make a mark where you want to start it, and where you want it to finish. Right here. Okay, so now we've marked, this is where the side we're going to put the zipper on. We're going to put the zipper here to here, and we're going to make the ultimate joining of this on that. Again, this will be up against the boat. So, okay, all I did, as you saw we measured out, so so we know where we want the zipper. And I just marked the length of it, took a pair of scissors and just slit a hole right down the center of it. That's all you got to do. For the tire length, you want the zipper part, and then make the zipper a little bit longer, which I did. So I got like an inch or so at each end there. So just in case. Sometimes it can pucker and get into trouble. So okay, here we go. Now, hopefully you're close enough to see this. And we'll take the teeth, the fat side. Teeth has kind of a flat and then a fat, kind of sticking up side. The sticking up side you want out. Okay? So here's the back. Here's the back of our boxing fabric side. Here's our fat teeth against that. And then of course we want to line up so that we got our teeth. You see the slit, our slit is here. We want our teeth right in the middle of that. I'm going to go down each side. So get on this side first. A little bit like putting a patch behind a French seam. Just got to be careful and take your time. Don't rush these things. Because you would like it kind of straight. Now it goes again, it's the back of the boat, so I mean against the wall. You don't really see it, but it's just nice. So you want to keep your fabric together, push it together, so no wrinkles, but it's just touching. Then you put your fat teeth part right on that where they're touching. I like to keep my foot here to the right, of these teeth, so I have a nice level playing field to slide down. Drop our foot. Lock it. Okay, now here you gotta go slow. Keep matching up your cut with those teeth. And go down whole length. Because you're doing two sides, you've got to keep both sides going at the same time, even though you're not sewing on here. You've got to keep them lined up, otherwise you're going to end up with big wrinkles. So hold everything down. Take short sections, like not even 6 inches. Again, keep checking, make sure those fat teeth are in the cut. Pull everything together, both sides are even. Make sure everything's laying down. Okay. Now I'll just keep doing that the whole length, and I'll bring you back when we get this all sewed up. Here we go. I got the top plate. Now remember, you don't want to get messed up. So this again is the good side. This is the good side. It's going to be showing in the boat. This is where we wanted our seam, somewhere around here, and where we want the zipper to start. So you don't have to staple this. You can if you like. And there is no top or bottom to this. So whatever side you pick is the top. So what we're going to do, and as you see what I leave extra vinyl, I leave extra piping on both sides, and leave them open. I do not sew them, because we got to join these at the seam when we're done. So just to verify though, it's always good to verify. Here's the front of that thing, so let's start around here and just walk this around. Make sure that our thought process is right here. Yep, see the finish. Here's our bottom piece, and our zipper stops a few inches short of that. Perfect. Go around here. Go through this little hump area. A little bend in there just to make sure. Good. And then look, we're almost back. We're going to have, like 6 inches, 7 inches to join this, so that's good. It's a good thing. Okay, find that front again. Remember now what we want to do. Our good side. I'll just start with the zipper on the back side. So I'm going to start and give myself like 3 inches extra on this side. I put the zipper about where we want it, several inches in from the front, which is about right. And again, we just match up our corners here, nice and clean. So I want to go down, start later, so I'm not messing up this. I want this all loose so I can do the connecting. Remember, we have good face on good face, and we're going to put the edge to the edge, right about here, I think. So right where I started, where I put that piping on, is where I'm going to start again. Get this into the machine here. There we go. Everything laying flat, that looks good. Right on the edge. And drop our basket. And here we go. We can freehand this now, just always check and make sure our edges are good. The edge of the piping and the edge of the top plate are going to be on top of one another. Make sure there's no wrinkles in our Okay, I'll just go all the way around and I'll bring you back when we're joining. Get back a second. I'm going around the first tight corner here. And I just want to remind you is keep feeling back there for no lumpy vinyl. Make sure your vinyl's nice and flat. You lift up, you want the boxing standing up. And if you can see our corner here is tight, so I'm going to want to walk this. So I pull the vinyl, make sure everything's laying flat. I got the needle buried, and I take a couple of strokes here. So I get up towards the edge, bury my needle again, lift up my basket, and turn. Again, pull this up, push that out so it's right close to the edge. And push it out, a nice smooth corner. Try to get your angle going the right way. Drop your basket. Make sure your piping foot stays on the piping. Bury it again, lift up, twist it again. Make sure our vinyl's nice and flat. Push it down, edge to edge, basket down, little walk. The other thing I do with all these projects I did, I double seamed everything. So it's going to be nice and sturdy. I think the owner's going to like that. But also, you have to be slow when you do the first one. And then after you get the first one done, of course, then you double seam it, you can go 90 miles an hour because nothing's going to move. And it gives it the added strength. Now that we're 3/4 of the way around, I should be able to do this myself now. So, there we go. Okay, we're on the straightaway again. I just wanted to show you that. So now, I've sewed all the way around. We're now at kind of the back side of the top. And you see this is what I have left over. I had to cut actually some off. So, now you see you fold it down. We've got good side to good side here. We looked at this. Now, the problem here is we have to be able to attach both pipings. So we have hopefully a nice smooth transition here. So what we have, roll it out, and I pull back, I cut off the excess thread and roll these back on both sides. Now we're dealing on the very top. We'll worry about the bottom later. So what we need to do is we've got to get these spliced together. So as you see, I leave a couple of inches unsewn here, so I have some working ability. This is what I'm sewing, so I put the sewing side down there, make sure it's going to work nicely. That does look good. In fact, I think I'm going to staple it, but not right at the moment. Then I look at the two pipings. Now, of course, we want to leave some extra, so there's an we'll do a faux French seam, which is what I usually do there. So it's kind of nice and straight, up and down. That looks good. And we check the, hold on here. We check the piping, so where they meet. Now we have enough vinyl to overdo it, so we'll put the two together right about where they're going to go. It's right about there. Now we're going to cut them so they're going to be the right length. Get those pieces out of there. Now hopefully, if we did this right, I'm going to pull some more stuff off here. On this side, it's open. Now, I need more vinyl. Yep. Pull back. Okay. Now, two ends of the core should meet. We wrap the vinyl around. We got too much vinyl here, so we got this vinyl here, and this one here has got like 2 inches. We only need about half inch maybe overlap. Let's cut some of that off. We keep the bump down too, so it's not so noticeable. Okay, so now we gotta sew this. Out of the way. Okay, let me get this settled. I'll bring it right back in. Okay, I think I'm getting it organized. So what I did, as you see, I just stapled it. Pulled the vinyls together and stapled it on that piping. And now we need to lock it in. Stitch that in there. Make sure your fabric's all laying good. We'll try to do everything at once here. We'll try to get capture both sides and do our piping, and hopefully not make a big mess here. Go nice and slow, make sure there's some kind of curve. Hopefully the staples will hold the piping together. We won't lock the tube or anything right now until we're sure that we're right. Let's pull this off and take a peek. See what we've done. Oh, that looks really good. We did it. There's our seam. A little bulky, but not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. So we got a hole here. We got to continue to sew, but that'll be a nice front. Okay. So now that we're comfortable that we're all right, let's sew over that again. Make sure it's nice and stable. Start a little bit back so we'll make sure we do lock this time. Problem, you know, it's the material. We're fighting everything here. Okay. This time we want to go all the way around. Feeling for that piping. Make sure you're according to it. See what we got here now. Not turn it over. Like I always say, check before you leave any of the situations that you're good. And yes, it look wonderful. You can see it. I mean, it's a bump there, but I don't know. I've seen where I've done done it before, where I have fabric with designs and stripes on them, and then you can line up your stripes, and these things virtually disappear. But that's pretty nice. I like that. Okay, now we got to put a French seam on here. Oh no! First we got to, unfortunately, we got to figure out how to. Let's take out the staples, and then I've got to repeat the exact same thing with the bottom piping. And you don't need to see that, because it's the exact same thing I just did. And I'll bring you back when we get this thing all top completed, and I'll show you how I double seam and give added support. Welcome back. There's the result. There we got we welded these two together. Not too bad, and I gave a little, not exactly a French seam, but it doesn't look too bad. And again, it's going to be against the wall. This is the good side, of course. They'll see this. Hopefully, they're not even be seeable, but it doesn't look too bad. Anyway, that's how you do it. Both sides. So now, anyway, I'm going to, as I mentioned, I double seamed all the projects to give it some added strength, and I think that's a really good idea when and it's inexpensive because of all the things you do. And in fact, the thread there, there's about a bigger one. That's like $25, something like that. And that will last me a long time. So just start. You'll know where you start because you'll have your big tails there. And now everything is together. So you should be able to go like the wind. Make sure you keep feeling for the piping though. Make sure you want that cording all the time. Go around the corner. Make sure you don't do any double layers and end up sewing. Broke my thread. Anyway, you get the idea. I'll continue. I'll fix my thread and continue the double seam, and I'll bring it right back. And here we go. I've turned it back right side out after I have double seamed everything. So we are all done with the top and the boxing. And it looks pretty good. You know, put it on after you're done sewing. Put it on your foam. Make sure your piping is all falling on the right on the edge. Matter of fact, we might not even need batting on this one. We'll find out when we're done. But I think with this is a high density foam, as I've talked about in the other chapter. It's really a comfortable foam. I like it. I think it's going to be a nice cushion. Okay, now we flip it over. I say we want our boxing to fall right on the edge there, which looks like we're doing pretty good with. All the way around, looks like it fits good. Now the webbing part. Get that. Now, this is kind of our final check because they say when you start sewing this, you're going to go all the way around, and if there's any bunching or puckering or all that, it's going to ultimately show at the end. And then, like the other cushion, you're going to have to figure out what am I going to do now. So I think our size looks right. Looks like we're falling right on the edge here. So I'm going to cast my fate to the wind, and we're going to sew this on. Obviously, we've got to turn it inside out again now. But I'm going to staple it on after I get rid of the foam. I'll show you that. A couple of places here. Let me get the foam out and bring the